Good evening and welcome to Build Your Best Life with Deborah D. Smith. I am so excited to have you here on this beautiful Tuesday. If you come on in and like and share so we can get started, as I'm excited to start on this topic that we have for today. But obstacles come in all forms, such as murder, suicide, depression, low self-esteem, obesity, lack of role models. And these are only some of the obstacles that our young people encounter. My platform is designed to assist high school age and young adult males as they follow my basic principles to build their best lives. You see, I believe it is better to train early rather than to fix later. And as you know, this month we have been celebrating and talking about life is like football. Life is like football because there are so many correlations as to the attributes that a player needs to have in order to be a successful team player and help the team to achieve their goals. But like they have to do in football, those things are needed as well in life. So that's why we are talking about that. So I can't wait to get started today, but I would like to introduce you to our guest today, Mr. Jeremiah Johnson. Hi, Jeremiah. How are you?
How you doing today? I'm doing blessed, can't complain.
That's
Excited to
wonderful,
be here.
wonderful. Thank you. Could you tell everybody a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Yes, ma'am. So my name's Jeremiah. A lot of people know me by Jay. I'm 20 years old. I'm from DeSoto, Texas. I basically grew up here in DeSoto, and I love drums and I love to worship. So
All right. Those are two great things. Worshiping those drums, I tell you, is nothing like
yes,
it.
ma'am. One of a kind
Oh,
experience.
were great. And also, he left out a big part. And many of the fans here on Facebook and YouTube know Miss Billy Johnson, and this is Billy's son.
Yeah, most people do know me by that's that Miss Johnson's son.
All right. Well, Deacon Holmes, thank you for tuning in today. Jocelyn, thank y'all for tuning in today. We're going to get started, but today we're going to be talking about finishing, because a lot of people, they'll start actions and then they drop it. But if you start
Right.
something, it is so important to finish it.
Correct.
Stop starting and leaving goals unfinished. Pitfalls and distractions are just something that happens. That's a part of life. So you can't let those bumps in the road stop you. You got to keep going until you reach those goals. So
100%.
Jeremiah and I are going to be talking today to try to give you some tips and some information to get you thinking, like what happens when you drop the ball. You drop the ball in life. We know what happens when they drop it in football. But when you drop that ball in life, what can happen? All right. So, Jeremiah, tell us why it's essential to finish whatever it is that you start.
I think the biggest component that happens when you go through anything in life, whether it's you're fighting obesity, addiction, whatever you're trying to overcome. There's a there's something that you find at the end of your battle that you won't get at the beginning, and that's wisdom. Because life is a constant battle. It's a new battle every day it's called growth. And that's the only way that you learn is through pain. So it's important that when you go through your different storms that you understand that, you know, this pain, there's something that, like, for example, I'll throw out real quick. Um, I know a lot of people my age or in my generation are real hung up on relationships or whatever the case may be. And I had a friend, he was so heartbroken by this relationship. And I told him, he used to always say, man, it don't really hurt me or whatever. And I think one of the main reasons that people don't finish is because they get caught up in their own lies, lying to themselves, saying that, well, I'll get to it this day, or I'll work on being more consistent then, but you can start to change now. And another reason or a viewpoint to look at it would be the choice. I know everybody remembers a time where you had a choice to do the right thing or the wrong thing, to keep going or to stop. And in that choice, it's going to contribute a lot to who you are throughout your life. If you want to say, let's say you have a goal, and it's like, I want to, for me, mine was cross country when I was in high school. Wanted to go to state. I always walked around there saying junior high is when I started cross country. And as I kind of developed into a deeper love for running, I ran into a few speed bumps of, being tired. You have the option to get up every morning. Are you gonna go run? How good do you want to be? How bad do you want it? Those are all things that people don't always. They're not ready and prepared for on their journey. A lot of people assume that if you plan out to do something and if it doesn't go your way, then it's not for you, and that just simply isn't true.
All right. I agree with that. Yeah, because those bumps are going to come up, and that sometimes will strengthen you. So you just got to keep going.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I agree with that. Um, Hello, Dan. Thank you for tuning in. And Damien is watching as well. He and his mom said hello.
How y'all doing?
All right. So as it relates to finishing, what do you find among people in your generation as far as, do most of them let things go, or a good part of them do finish, or is it a mixture?
I think actually a lot of my generation gets caught up in their emotions. If you want me to be completely honest with you, usually it comes down to he said, she said, or they looked at me wrong, or they made me upset, or whatever the case may be. And this always comes back to you can only control what you do. You can't control what other people do.
All right.
Life is really all about how you react to it. You can flip out and that won't change anything. You'll be stressed out, but you'll be in the same situation. So a lot of my generation gets caught up in the struggle, in the stretch for growth. Um, and it's a hard battle to overcome, yes, but again, it comes down to that simple decision, that choice. It's like, am I going to be honest? Am I going to really go seek the help that I need for this? Am I gonna really break it down until I understand it? And I tell people all the time when working with me, I've been an assistant director at Chick-fil-A. I've been in a lot of different leadership positions, and it's always like if you don't understand something in life, no matter how old you are, it's more important that you actually know how to go about it and get that knowledge than to act like you don't and not really ever know. That's a lot of people in my generation are embarrassed, I should say, maybe of their struggle or maybe of them struggling with their struggle. Maybe the plan that they had in place isn't going right, and they just thought it was going to be a walk in the park. And the topic might be sensitive, so they don't want to, reach out to people or their little huddle to get the help. So I think it simply comes down to emotions, and that
Yeah.
in turn will. I'm sorry, my bad, but
Go ahead.
that your circle will also influence. My mom gave me a quote. I forget the gentleman's name who had it, but he was saying that you were an average of the five people you spend the most time with. So if you really boil it down and you look at your circle and you see their life that they're living, and if they're living in really decay, that's already where you're gonna be. You can't go to get help, at a junkie house. You see what I'm saying? It's not gonna
Right,
work that
right,
way, right?
right. Yeah, so that's why you got to be careful about who you hang with. If it's somebody that they don't know anything, they're not doing anything, they're not going to be able to help you. So that's the wrong crowd to be hanging with anyway, if you want to be successful yourself.
Correct.
Like you say, you have been in leadership. So like you're someone that they should be able to talk to, and especially, a peer. So
Of
because I
course.
know a lot of people don't like to speak with our generation, but hey, this is my peer. I see them doing, they're on their grind, they're doing things, let me just get it off my mind, because we were talking about this Saturday, we have a big epidemic of suicide in your age and younger. And a lot of it has to do with the mental health, because when these issues come up, they keep it inside. They don't want to talk with anybody, but you have to, rely on and find someone that you can talk to.
100%.
Yes.
100%. And also a good thing to remember in life too, that's helped me out a lot. It's really almost turned my life around. But in anything in this world, whether it be relationships, finances, money, or whatever it is, if it's not growing, it's dying. It can only do one other thing. You look at a plant and you see it, it's if it's not producing fruit, it's dead. You see, and that's with everything. And you can really take it to the spiritual realm and look at a person's character. Just saying, is this somebody I want to be in my circle? Well, how much fruit do they have? Well, that's how much fruit I'm gonna have in my basket when it comes time for someone to look at me, because they're gonna be a part of my average of who I am. Because I spend, you see what I'm saying? That how much time that I spend with them. So if it's not growing, it's dying. Is definitely something to keep in mind.
I love that. You said a whole lot right there. If it's not growing, it's dying. I like that.
Time to clean out the flower bed.
Wow. And then you can say the weeds are those people, those negative people that's got something negative to say, or they want to throw shade or whatever. Those are those weeds, and they just trying to, kill you out as well. So,
Of course, yeah.
Great. So why is it that you people start those projects, hobbies, and then they drop them without finishing? I know you gave us some insight on that, but specifically, can you?
Yeah, of course. So, it's important that when you start something, you really understand. Well, one thing that I had to understand was you can only plan so much, and because God is who He is, you have to leave room for Him to do what He's going to do. So, while in your midst of planning and preparing what you want to accomplish, um, in your prayer in everything that you're doing, you have to leave room for God, because it's like if I plan to do this all by myself, and I know people say that, they say that so lightly, and I know a lot of my generation might not really know what these sayings mean, but when you're doing it all by yourself, that means that you have no help from anybody else. Literally, that means that you got it from A to B, and that's just simply never going to be the case, because of who God is and who we are to Him. So it's important that when you're planning, as many of us don't do, we don't leave God room to do what He's trying to do. So a lot of our plan that we thought we were going to do gets disrupted by where he wants us to be, our purpose, you know. Um, and so once that plan gets disrupted, we lead to frustration because it's not going how we wanted it to go, but it's not supposed to go how you're supposed to go, how you wanted it to go. So just remembering that, having that faith in God, like it might not always look pretty, but he's gonna take care of his. God is gonna take care of his children no matter what. And God doesn't make trash either. He has never been one to make uh, any type of trash at all. So it's important to remember that you're here for a reason. You're beautiful to Him and you're precious to Him. So that as you're walking and you're fighting, um, it's gonna be times where you say, "I want to give up," because in growth, you have to, get bigger. And the only way to do that, for anything to grow, is you have to let some things die. Some things have to die. So in order for it to die, you have to get rid of it. That means you have to go through a storm to shake your leaves up in your life. You're gonna have to have a good wind come by your life to shake that up so that you can grow. And a lot of us forget that. My mom said another good quote. We always pray for rain without an umbrella. Well, you got to know what's coming with what you're asking for. So, just remembering that, God is God and He's going to overfill our cup because He knows what we want more than what we know. So, just keeping in mind, like, I know a lot of people, they think that, you having the best job, you have to be on top of all of these things. But I feel like if you put as much emphasis into your goals or whatever you have going at your life that your main focus is on, if you put that same amount of energy into your spiritual life, into God, a lot of the stuff that you're dealing with, you might not really be dealing with. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
again, that's just cleaning out your flower bed. Who's leading your life? You making the most money in the world? Is that really what you chasing? Because if you chasing that, that's a trail of dead. It ain't nothing over there because money's temporary. It's not even backed by gold. So what are you really doing?
Yeah.
So I mean,
It's good. Yeah. Because, it's very, very important. First of all, one of the things you said about purpose, because, we have different talents. Like, you say you love drums. However, God has given you that talent, so He knows what He wants you to do with that talent that He has given you. And so if you start and something, you get this hiccup, and it's like you don't have time for that, then
Mm-hmm.
you're not living through that purpose, because you're wasting that talent that He's given. And like I always like to say, there are so many books and musicals and films in the cemetery because people kept them. They didn't use their God-given purpose to live out life so that they could help the multitude. You might say, well, how is a movie helping someone? If you anybody that's into Tyler Perry, I know his movies a lot of times are hilarious, but they have so much life in them, teaching people principles, like not to, what happens in this house, we keep it in this house. And then what happens is you keep it inside and it eats you all up. So he's
Mm-hmm.
showing people things. So if people have those type talents or whatever, and you keep them to yourself, not only are you not living out your purpose, you're not helping.
Hurting somebody else.
God wants you to move on, and you're not helping other people. So you're
100%.
really missing out.
And another thing too, to kind of put it in another perspective or a different language, is I see you wear glasses. I need some glasses. I'm working on getting some glasses, but I need some. And one thing that I had learned at 412 when I was at Antioch was that everybody that has glasses, we all know, you put on somebody else's glasses and you look through it and it's like, what are you doing in here, man? Like none of this is right at all. You need to get fixed or something. And it's always that realization that dang, they wouldn't be able to see with my glasses on, and I can't see with theirs on. And that's the same thought process that you should take when it comes to your purpose in life, because there'll be many times that you'll be wanting to do things and go towards things, and you might not have cleaned out your closet yet. You still might have a few old people hanging around your flower bed that you don't need in there. So it's like when they get to talking, bro, that's really what you want to do, man. I've had people along my path that have been like, bro, you play the drums, bro, like what are you doing? And it's always been, that's fine that you don't see, what God has put in me, but it's important that you listen to that your Holy Spirit is in tune with God, because God will talk to you, and the only thing that matters is what comes from His mouth, because He knows the beginning from the end. So all this hearsay about what everybody else has to say doesn't even matter, because at the end of the day, God is God, and they are who they are. You see.
Right.
So always remember that, even if other people don't see what you have to do, it's if that's in tune right there, like the old radio station, if you remember you had to dial back. Once you start driving into another city or you drive too far, your static gets messed up a little bit. And that's okay. And that's another thing, people get so upset when things don't go their way. It's okay. That's how life happens. Life, it works like this. We're human beings. We're not machines. You're not gonna be able to program us, to do the exact same thing every time. That's what a machine is. So it's important to remember that, okay, things aren't going my way. This is where God gets ready to come in. It's never a time to get upset. It's really a time to rejoice, because, like, even if it's not exactly what you expected, God don't ever give you a smaller bear than the one you just had. It don't ever happen like that. So it's
Right.
always like the faith aspect is huge. It's really, really huge. If you plan to, aspire to do anything great, you have to have that faith in the right person first off, in your source, and you have to know that God is not gonna forsake you. He never has. He sent Jesus down here for you. So he ain't going nowhere. He's not
Right.
running away from you or anything like that. And he's always, I know a lot of people I've heard too in my generation. The guilt thing I remember from earlier. I wanted to say that I know a lot of people, they forget that the whole reason that Jesus came down here was for your sins that you were gonna do. You ain't even do them right then when he died, but it was because he was the most pure sacrifice that we could ever have to cover all the stuff that we were gonna do. So the reason when he did that, that was when you cheated on the test, or whatever you did, because sin is sin. No matter what color you may see it as, Sin
Right.
is sin. So when you do something wrong, you have to remember that grace and mercy will follow you all the days of your life. It's okay. God knows you're gonna mess up. And it's important to not take advantage of that, because it's like, yeah, I'm gonna mess up, but that's not where he wants you to stay. He don't want you to get comfortable in your mistakes, because
Yeah.
that's a routine and a cycle. So, but definitely, when you're attempting to finish out a race or anything, it's gonna get stormy. You're gonna have a storm, but that's because that's a part of the cycle of growth. Like, that's how you grow. So never get worried, never get shaken. That's when you should get excited, I should say.
Yep, get excited. And just like you said, those are the storms. It's just like if you're driving and it all of a sudden it just starts raining. I mean, the bottom just falls out and you're like, oh, I can't see. And somebody's in the car, but you should pull over, you should pull over.
Hmm.
And you're like, oh, I don't know. And then you see the car behind you, you pull over and they pull over, but you say, no, I'm going to keep going. And you go and in less than 1 minute, the
Ain't
sun's
nothing
out,
new.
no rain, because you kept going. You had that faith to keep moving, and you came through
Hmm.
that storm. You know,
Right.
that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna run into those
Hmm.
things in life. That's all a part of life. But you have to have that faith, know whose you are. As you said, he came down to die for us, and he's not going to leave us or forsake us. He's not going to put those blocks in our way to make us stumble and fall. He's going to put them in, hey, let me balance myself, make us
Hmm.
stronger. So there's a reason
100%.
for all of
100%. I like
it.
to
Correct.
envision it as like a baby sometimes trying to walk up steps. I know it's funny because ain't no baby walking up no stairs. But just imagine, trying to get those little legs up the stairs. You're gonna trip up a few of them. You got a lot more stairs to go, but you're gonna trip up the first couple. But as your body begins to grow, you're gonna have those muscle aches, those knee aches and stuff like that. But as your body begins to grow, it's growing to prepare what you're doing. You see that? As your body is growing, it's preparing yourself to be able to climb up the stairs without using your hands and crawling all the way up. So it's all for a reason, and you have to just trust him, because we ain't never gonna know. Because if we ever knew why God was God, why he did what he did, who would that make us?
All right.
So, it's always a perspective to it.
Yeah, we can take it from that baby. They don't get scared or whatever. They just keep going. They make it up one step. They go up the next
Hmm.
one.
They keep fighting. Oh yeah, they curious. They gonna
Yes.
keep fighting.
Yeah, that's great stuff, Jeremiah. All right. Can you provide an example of when you did or did not finish something and how it made you feel?
Of course, the whole cross country state journey, that was definitely man, that was a roller coaster of emotions right there. Because it's hard, there was a point in the summer where we had to do 100 miles in 1 week, and we're running these. Keep in mind, very quickly. So it was hard, because it's like my body does not want to do this at all. Like, my body is trying to shut down right now. And the more you do it, you start to get things like a runner's high, which makes you want to run more. But you know, I got to a point to where it was like, man, is this even what I wanted to do? And it's like, looking back on the situation, I know now that was the devil, because it's like, you see, I went to state. I made it to state. I made it there. I know that now. But in the moment, it's always gonna sound so easy. That easy button to exit, that's always your temptation. And you never want to bite it. You never want to. A donut, it's gonna look good, but it's not gonna do anything good for you. You see what I mean? So I was taunted, a little bit, and there was a point where I did quit. I quit for like a week or a month. And what happened was, it was the curiosity that really killed me. It was like, dang, bro, but we are gonna have a good team. We've been getting faster. Bro, I could have probably did it. I don't even know. Little things like that used to kill me and just eat me up inside. Because I didn't really not want to run. I just didn't want to put the work in. If I'm gonna be real honest, and that's where it started. I had to be honest with myself. I had to say, okay, Jeremiah, why is this so hard for you? I don't want to run. Why you don't want to run? because I'm tired. I've been running all day, all week, and then it's like, well, okay, so you running all week, and you rather give that up for your state moment, that moment on the line, like you really rather give all of that up, and going back on it. It really starts on your why, your desire, which I was gonna get into a little bit later, but um knowing why you're doing something is really important because my mom, another good quote she said is really hot. It says, if you don't know why you're doing something, you shouldn't be doing it.
Mm.
And that's just for real. It's like, just ask yourself. And so that's actually the question I asked myself when I quit. Like, why did you quit? For what? You were that close. You put all that work in. Freshman, sophomore, junior year. What are you doing? Why would you even do that? So I got back in there, and we went to state, and that was like one of the greatest moments of my life. And I'm so thankful that that curiosity kept eating at me because if it didn't, I probably would have never went back. So, and I would go as far to say that if you do have that curiosity ever knocking at you on something that you feel that is not for you, that's definitely something you should take to the throne. Because I mean, a lot of times if you in something deep, like when I was running, I was doing that for years and I was pretty good at it. Didn't like it. Keep in mind, did not like it. But I was pretty good at it. So when I overcame that battle of like mentally trying to get out of the lazy box in my head, because your mind will say no way before your body does. So I had to adjust and say, you know what, we not gonna even think about it up here. We just gonna do it. So I started to get into a routine. Every time you hear the alarm clock or whatever, it means you're going for a run. You know, you do your workout, and that cycle kept me going because I put little notes on there to keep me going. Like this is for state. You know, I'll write little stuff in different places, and do a little bit of manifestation, and that's where it got me. So definitely, it's important to keep pushing because you never know what you have to harvest from putting your seed there. You never know. You never once you put God's water on that soil, you never know how big that tree will get. So it's always important to check back, see what you can do. So
That's good. And then I like what you said. Notice I put consistency up there because once you
mhm,
started back, so you put that alarm clock on to make sure that you got out there doing it. So then once you did it continuously, became a habit.
a
And then once
lifestyle.
a habit, hey, I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna be successful at this. I'm gonna make it through. I'm gonna do this. I know I can do it. I'm gonna do it.
Yes, ma'am. Just like that. That's exactly how it works.
Yeah, amazing. What are your thoughts about qualities that one achieves when they complete what they start?
Qualities. I definitely feel that it builds a few things. One would be your well, let's say let me back up from here. When as you grow up, like 6, 5, 4, in that age right there, you start to, you have an imagination. There's things that you start to think about, you start to get curious about. But there's a certain that you're a soul, right? You have a personality, you have emotions, and
Hmm. Okay, Jeremiah's froze a little bit. It's on roll now. So I hope that clears up. What would we do without technology? So like what he had started to say about imagination when you
okay.
are
Okay,
young. Go ahead,
oh,
Jeremiah.
sorry, I it had messed up a little bit. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. It's technology. Hey, that's life. It happens.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Uh,
go ahead and talk about when you're young, you have imagination.
oh, yes, ma'am. So you get curious about different things, but that you're a spirit. You have a person that God is trying to build, and through that you have to learn, honesty, integrity, and there's different things about life you have to understand, different perspectives who make you who you are. And through cross country, I learned that I am very competitive. It showed me different characteristics about myself, and it was like, okay, I'm competitive, but then I went to learn that if I want something, I can get it, and that's very important, that to understand that you have that power and to see it actually happen. It's like, okay, I started off imagining that I could do something, right? Then I'm sitting here, went through this little storm. It was stormy. It was hard. It gave me a hard time. I got headaches. Didn't want to do it. Frustrated. Moping around. Then I got through it, and then I actually got exactly what I was imagining. To know that you have that ability is really important in life, to set your goals higher each time. So next time, for instead of cross country, I switched it up to drums, and I said, you know what? I've always loved PV's band. I really want to march there. From like a child, I wanted to do that, and turn around, I got that opportunity. And so it really taught myself that you can do it. You just have to want to do it. You have to be consistent. So the qualities I say that you get out of it is learning that by by being disciplined, you can get your fruit that you want. And also for me, that if I'm aligned with God, and if I have my Holy Spirit aligned with God, and you know I take care of my spirit the right way, I'm feeding it the right stuff, I'm hanging around the right people. A lot of times for me too, I learned a lot of my life lessons in the Bible just reading stories, because it's like, dang, that situation happened, but in a different way. But to me, and different perspectives that you learn. And God has a funny way of teaching it throughout life. And I feel like more so, instead of qualities, I feel like it's almost a lesson that you learn. And a lot of times it's not really like a straight up moral lesson, but it's always like in that moment for me, I learned that in the moment, the choice, when you sit there and you pause, and it's like, dang, that alarm did just go off. I mean, I'm supposed to run right now. And that choice is everything. That is like a ripple effect of what's about to happen next. And so it's gonna take one opportunity to mess it up, and it's gonna take a whole bunch to make it back up. So just remembering that if you push through, you'll learn different things about yourself. What type of plans you need to put together next time? Do you need to plan harder? You're not good with alarm clocks. I need a better alarm clock. It's not necessarily. I feel like the qualities is what I'm trying to say come in different forms, different nuggets that you learn throughout life.
That's great. Gave us a lot of nuggets to chew on there. Discipline, consistency, forming habits, growing, having that fruit of the spirit. That's important. Your actions, because your actions are so much, because you never know who's watching you. Because just sitting here, this is my first time meeting you, but sitting, listening to you, I mean, you would be somebody I would be like, might be sitting to the next table and you talking to somebody else like, oh, they own it back there. So you never know who's watching and listening to you. So your actions are so essential in your everyday life, because you are modeling someone else. Someone else is watching you and modeling their life. I sure like Jeremiah. I've been watching him. He's disciplined. I saw he can play drum. He gets into worship. He can run.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Don't sign me up for no 5Ks. I ain't trying to. I'm out that business. Bankrupt over there. Yeah, no more of that. Mm-mm. But definitely, yeah, you definitely learn a lot. I also would suggest that the biggest quality you can probably ever gain out of life, without even having to do anything, is
Come on, devil. Jeremiah telling us some good stuff here. We getting some good stuff out of him today. This is all about life and finishing. As you go through life, you come up against different obstacles. You come up with different. You're gonna run into a teacher, and you don't understand why you don't get along with that teacher, or why you in that class, or whatever. But it's through discipline and what you learn. So,
Sorry about that again.
no
What
problem.
I was saying that perspective is really key. Instead of looking at everything your way, try to take the servant mindset and look at it differently. That because you have to remember that. Well, one thing that I would learn at Chick-fil-A, they showed a training video, and it was of people they had their life coming to Chick-fil-A. It was like a little short film, and like this one lady, she had a real bad day at work. She spilled the coffee in her lap. Customers were yelling at her. She came to Chick-fil-A to get some lunch, and she was already, kind of a little bit rude, because of the day she's had, and just having to remember that you never know. That's with anybody in life, though. You never know what's somebody has been going through, and how they might react. And the way that you show the love of God is through your fruits of the spirit, patience, being kind, being gentle. Uh, that's really how, if anybody has ever really wondered, that's probably the best way to evangelize, to just simply show your fruit, taste and see, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
it's good. So, what was the outcome of the lady after she got the to?
oh, the training video made it seem like, okay, so they want you to make a difference in a person's day. So the training video's gear was basically to show you that being nice to somebody, or uh, just serving them with a good attitude, being happy to see them, will really change the outlook on someone's day. Um, yes, ma'am. So that was the whole presentation thing that I had to accomplish, but it really had a deeper meaning and different attributes that you can really apply to life. Because again, like, and nowadays especially, you never know, somebody, relative, with the virus going around, things going on at the border, literally wherever you're at, there's there's always something, happening. And just remembering and keeping having faith in God that, when you do cross a bridge that you have to battle, to have faith in him that he knows the beginning from the end. There's no reason for you to worry. One of my favorite scriptures is be still and know that I am God. Because he is. You just gotta stand there. Do what he said do. That's it. It's simple. But
Yep.
the little temptations in life, they'll make you think otherwise. That's why it's always important to tune it out. It's not because once you start just to even browse, once you start to browse around, that done got you hooked. Because just like a salesman, once I get you on the hook, I'm reeling you in. I'm bringing you all the way in. So, don't even bite the bait. Don't even browse at it. Just nah, that's not of God. Let me shut it down. Stay
Yeah,
focused.
that's good. And Chick-fil-A is definitely a great model to follow because they have excellent customer service.
100%.
All right. What are three tips you can give your peer group about finishing, the importance of finishing what they start?
I think the three things that I can bring today is actually going to be a kind of a layout of kind of how things happen, and what I would suggest if they're going to start something and they have a plan and goal they want to achieve, how that they should to go about it. So everything really starts in desire, right? It starts in desire. Then you have the plan of benefit. How will it benefit you? And then after that, it's your action. So the desire, you start there, and it's like, dang. For me, it was the drums. I was like, bro, they got so much swag up there at PV, man. Like, I don't even know. Lay on them drums, they showing out. That's where I need to be. I'm trying to make it happen, and that was my desire to be to put myself in that shoe and to put my spin on it, to put my water in the cup or whatever. So that was my pulling to the table, if you will. And what really got me in there was the plan of benefit. How would that benefit me? Well, I get to play. So then after that, it's my action. That's your where you start to make your plan. And in that moment of a plan, like I kind of said earlier, but I just really want to reemphasize on it. It's really important that you don't overplan and don't forget that you have somebody else on your team that has a playbook that he is trying to to exploit. So it's important that it's like I'm gonna make this plan. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Be very detailed in your plan. Um, I would say detailed enough to where it's like where you can create almost a cycle, so it can become a lifestyle. So it's like, okay, today I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this the next day. Take a break because breaks are important no matter what you're doing. You always have to give your body rest. Time to to prepare for what you're about to do. But also, dang it, I almost let it slip my mind. Trying to prepare. Once.
Okay.
Okay, but sorry, I was just basically saying don't be so easy on yourself when you go through, different storms and things like that. The door is always gonna be there. And if you didn't want to be where you were at, you wouldn't have started in the first place. So like yeah, just don't be so easy on the temptation. And I know all of this might sound so easy now, but kind of like in life, so I look at church as like the practice field almost. And in church, you're allowed to make mistakes. You can vent, you can mess up, and kind of like in the army, when you go to training camp, that's an opportunity for you, to mess up and to learn. Bump your head here and there, and you can always call for help. It'll be all right. But it's a lot of times you don't turn the switch on in your head that it's like, okay, I'm chasing my goal. This is game time. This is my, war zone. So I need to lock up and suit up. And when things go wrong, when things go left, you can't really just pull out. You have to keep fighting. And you'll always, if you don't take that first step to really punch, take your first punch, you always gonna have that first punch to take. It's always gonna be there until you decide, hey, you know what, it's time for me to go ahead and step up to the plate. Um, so yeah, I think that'd be probably what I would my best advice to give.
And that is awesome advice. So I hope everybody out there is listening, and I'm sure there's someone that you know that's not on here that you can share this with. So this is some good information. Please share, 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 so we can get some more people that have an opportunity to understand that, what they do in life, especially in this one of this category, is very key. When you start something, it's important to finish it. And as Jeremiah said, if didn't have that desire, you wouldn't have started it in the first place. So you have to, make sure that pray about it and understand that you are following maybe your purpose or whatever, and you need to do what you need to do to see it through. So, Jeremiah, are there any other words of wisdom that you would like to share about the importance of finishing? Can you hear me? I don't know why. I'm not on mute. I'm not on mute.
Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me now? You can hear me?
Still can't get it. Dang. Um,
Okay. So that was a lot of great information about the importance of starting or finishing what you start. As you go through life, you need to
Gotcha.
make sure that you are finishing up. So you have any other words of wisdom you'd like to share?
No, man, not today. They can kiss me. If they see me again, I'll probably be doing something with my mom. She's been talking about it soon. So if they want to stay tuned to her socials or mine, they can feel free to come hear me out again.
Okay, well, thank you so much. It's been wonderful as always. But everybody, yes, this was some great information about the importance of finishing. So please, please, please make sure that you share. And if you will, please tune in Thursday. Still talking about life is like football, but this Thursday, September 23rd at 6:30 p.m., I'm going to be talking about who's helping whom. Who's helping whom? Because, sometimes you are looking for help and you end up getting help, or you may help the other person more than you are being helped. So come tune in on Thursday to find out what that's about. And then on Saturday, you're in for a treat. It's going to be real life with Carol and Anastasia. So tune in Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for that. And remember, as you travel on your road to being a better you, you will run into distractions, pitfalls, rough terrain, and detours. Don't let any of these negative aspects of your journey stop you. Though they may slow you down, keep going to be a better you so that you can build your best life. And remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan, it's our commitment. And please go on my website, www.buildyourbestlife.org. On there, you will be able to see my calendar of events, learn more about my platform. Make sure that you like my page if this is your first time on. And you can also look at my the services that I offer, which is coaching, webinar speaking, and and you can get an autographed copy of my book, Build Your Best Life. And it has basic principles that will help everyone, our young people, grandparents, parents, mentors, pastors, leaders, anyone that wants to build their best life or assist someone else. This book will aid you in doing that. And I also look forward to being on Fishbowl Radio. I'm on fourth Monday, so I will be on this upcoming Monday along with Coach Ricardo Miller. And next month, I'm going to the Bahamas on my Bahamas missions tour. So please visit my Facebook page and my YouTube page to see how you can help as I prepare to go to the Bahamas. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Jeremiah, it was nice meeting you. Thank you so much for taking time out to share with us today. Be blessed and good thanks to you and everything that you're trying to do.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate it. Good to meet you as well. I had a good time here.
All right. Thank you. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a blessed rest of your day. And remember to tune in on Thursday. Bye-bye.